Is there anyone who can resist this cuteness? This critters is the loyal crew and dedicated henchmen of the menacing villain who turned out to be a hero in the animated movie franchise Despicable Me. But even they look cute, innocent and adorable, many fans didn't fail to notice that they are heavy with hidden meanings and a bunch of conspiracy theory. Why does it matter? Well, because we are the theory of everything. The one who will bringing out the facts, dark truth, theory, and even rumor about various contents that might be our own popular delight. Some of the facts were only known in an exclusive small circle, other was the result of fans and critics' reaction to the contents. Some of it could be true, many of it was just a juicy theory. And now, as you may have guessed, we are going to give our take on this lovely and irresistible yellow herds. Everybody knows Minions. Bruce small, yellow, comical henchmen who have one or two eyes, whether you watch the movie franchise or not. But despite how recognizable the Minions is, there's many facts about them that you may not be privy to. From their disturbing origin to their controversial design inspiration. Well, without further ado, let's dig in. When Despicable Me hit the theater back in 2010, who would have thought that it will become a goldmine for Universal Pictures? The main protagonist is a middle-aged reformed supervillain named Villainius Gru, who later becomes a father, husband, and a secret agent. And even the three little sisters he adopted were cute, the plot story were pretty simple. Except these minions. Children loved them, adults accepted them, and the marketing went crazy about them. Soon, we all see minions everywhere, from merchandise to clothing, from short movies to sequels and then spin-offs. Even our daily favorite food brand were associated with this lovely yellow fellow. The revenue of this franchise is $3.7 billion and became Universal Pictures' biggest score in their 100 years of existence. And Minions now legally integrated into our modern pop culture. But rumors and theory about Minions were also grew in almost an instant. Legends were born from mouth to mouth surrounding their origin. Most of it were quite disturbing to say the least, and even some were downright creepy and scary. But before we dive down deep into this said legend, let's learn first about their fun aspect, okay? How many are they? According to the movie poster of Despicable Me 2, their number reached 10,400 minions, all presented in the poster. Count it out yourself if you don't believe us. And the interesting part is, each one of them were created, designed and presented as a distinctive individual and not only by copy and paste mode. And you might wonder that with many variants of character, they were voiced by different actors too. But you guys wrong, because no matter how many there are, their voice came from one singular person. Pierre Covin, the creator and co-director of the franchise. Covin is a French animator and director who founded a production company called Illumination. Less people know that Pierre Covin has Indonesian roots. His mother was the late Indonesian author N. Hadini. You probably heard the name when you studied literature back at school. Yes, N. Hadini was one of the Indonesian greatest authors from Generation 66, along with W.S. Rendra, Ayep Rosidi, Gunawan Muhammad, and Taufik Ismail. And even though Covin's side job as a Minions voice actor looks like a fun task, it didn't mean that his job was easy peasy. He's not only voiced a well-known Minions character like Bob, Kevin, and Stuart, but all Minion extras who might have a one or two talking scene only. In total, he have to voice his 899 different Minions. Are Minion languages real? You think when these yellow critters talk, they just mumbling some meaningless gibberish? Think again, because they are actually a real Minion language. It's called Minionese, formed from various languages around the world, sometimes mixed and intertwined. For example, Bapple is the apple. Para tu is the Spanish rough translation for you. Gelato is ice cream. Banana is banana. That's simple. Maybe you might catch up some of it from your own nation. We certainly did. In one scene on the first Minion spin-off, there's a phrase that you might recognize.
Oh, terima kasih, terima kasih. Kanpai, kanpai, kanpai.
So, care to learn about their adorable talking? It might only take your precious minutes of the weekend. Why is yellow minions are good and the purple minions are bad? We first introduced to the original one in Despicable Me. Yellow, cute, funny, incompetent, annoying, sometimes a little psycho, but overall a good nature, even they love to serve bad guys throughout millennia. But then in the sequel Despicable Me 2, we then introduced to their alteration one, the bad purple, formed at the viral state of an extreme mutation caused by mutagene PX41. They never speak like the original one, but rather growl, roar, scream and snarl most of the time. But why purple? Usually, turning bad character heavily associated with red or black, but the creator made it into purple. Actually, the reason was simple but quite impressive. Purple is axis in the opposite end of yellow in the color spectrum. That's why the color were chosen. Simple but yet gave the children an earlier sense about color code system into their mind and ours. Why they look like we know today? At the earlier stage of productions, the minion who meant to serve a villain in the movie were originated to be more like an Orsis form. Yes, much more like the one we saw in popular lore such as Lord of the Ring or Warcraft series orbs. Imagine, how can you fall in love with such creature? But thank God they also wanted audience to care about Gru and the movie in general. So then they came up with a lead piece inspiration of the Jawas from Star Wars franchise. Similar length feature, childlike personality, and unusual language. And they also took influence from another unique creature from different universe. Oompa Loompa from the original Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Squad that have had unusual fascination and dedication toward their leader also love eating and singing, much like our yellow friend we know today. So here they are now: yellow, overall, goggles, 1 or 2 hair string, and century behind way of thinking. Some say that without the existence of the Minions, Despicable Me franchise won't be as success as we know today. Gross a total of more than $3.7 billion, making the franchise the highest grossing animated film franchise. And the 15th highest grossing film franchise of all time. All because this cute incompetent yellow henchman. But where are the juicy theory about their disturbing origin we promised before? Don't worry, you will get what you deserve. What is relation between Minions and Nazi? What about Illuminati rumor? Or did you know that there were a distribution of the sequel that never been made in the first place? Who made them then?
Can I be the first to say, ew? What?
All for you in the next segment. Do you agree with our take? Let us know in the comment. Or is there any content you wish to dig into? Feel free to give us your feedback. Stay tuned. Did you know the alphabet Gene Minions overall came from Gru's initial?
What?
Welcome back to Theory of Everything, where we took rumor, truth, hidden meaning, Easter eggs, and conspiracy theory about pop culture very seriously and handed it to you in a silver platter. We might be digging to your childhood hero or legendary song and movie, Or we might be presenting the latest trending of your favorite show. Today, we still owe you the juicy part of dark origin of the Minions. This is Kevin, this is Bob, and this is Stuart. They were the main minions Gru trusted the most, or tolerate the most, depending on how you saw it. But as we mentioned before, there are 10,400 of minions populated the franchise. Where were they came from? According to the first Minions movie spin-off, minions were exist since the beginning of time, developed from a single cell to multiple cell and then to a complex cells. They went through the evolution process along with the other creatures that walked the earth, although their evolution seems to only affected their appearance rather than their whole as a package. Their brain and intelligent capacity seems to remain in a stone age despite how formidable their physique were. They develop a surviving mechanism that can make them endure such a harsh and drastic environment condition, whether even they can survive in a space without the need of oxygen. And even though they were a sucker for banana, we believe they don't need food to stay alive. That makes them some sort of immortal being such as a Highlander or even a god. But some fans noticed that at their first movie appearance, Despicable Me, there were only hundreds of them, 230 to be exact. But when Despicable Me 2 released, their number grew to those magnificent 10,000 and more. Some believe most of them were robots, developed in the underground lab by Gru and Dr. Navarro. But some also believe that they were clones, and others believe they were human who mutated by experiment. This theory came from a legend that born in the wake of franchise growing popularity. Some said that before the event of the first movie took place, Gru and his wife have a son who had disability and deformed body. When their son died, Gru and his wife were separated and Gru began to experiment on his son's DNA to create a child like his own. But the experiment failed, and what Gru had were this childish, short, yellow, and annoying creature. You guys must know the Nazi, right? A fascist party who committed atrocities the likes of which are not even worth thinking about. However, no internet conspiracy theories would have you believe that they are responsible for yet another dark mark on humanity: Minions. This theory was circulated on Twitter since July 2015 and gained some traction online. And then in 2017, The Telegraph published an article titled "The Nazi Invented Minions." Of course, the article ending was stated that the theory are rubbish, but public sometimes ignoring the text under the title. It was the title they concerned the most. So it began the conspiracy theory about the origin and the true purpose of the movie franchise. A picture of a group of people looks short like children, spreading on social media alongside a horrifying claim, believing that Minions figure were inspired by Jewish children kidnapped by Nazi scientists for sole purpose of using them in poison gas experiments. Their high-pitched voices in the movie are meant to represent the high-pitched screams of the children during the cruel experiments. Some also claim that the movie itself was a part of covert attempt to get the public to accept Nazi ideology. But it was all indeed a rubbish. The photo circulated to support the claim is actually a photo of a hull and Ree submarine escape suit that dates back to around 1908. Many years before the rise of Nazism, and not a device used to administer poison to children, thankfully. Due to a choice name of the company production, and also due to the fact that many Minion individual has only one eye, some believe that the creator behind the franchise were a part of a legendary brotherhood who control the world in a shadow. Yes, a Bavarian secret society founded in 1776, Illuminati, often associated with a group of powerful people who still practice an old and scary ritual. They usually receive quite a negative impression from society. But that was understandable, because some sources say that Illuminati was indeed a group of people who find enlightenment in life, whether throughout knowledge or visionary thinking. And at the beginning of their existence, they often fight against the church, who still value an ancient knowledge. Therefore, Their ideology always clashed with each other, and since the church at the time still pretty much held the most power amongst community, so the group of enlightened people who called themselves Illuminati was marked as misguided, perverted, stray, and sinner. But is it though? Even if the Minion's creator was indeed part of the Illuminati, who among us to judge them? Some other disturbing legends surrounding the Minions were the confessions of a number of fans who claimed that they had watched a sequel to Despicable Me that very dark. One fan claimed he had watched a movie with similar title. But instead of watching the familiar plot, he watched an alteration in which Agnes, the youngest of Gru's adopted daughters, were kidnapped by the Minions. They brought her to the lab and then experimented on her until she died. Other fans claim they had watched the one with the Gru ended up dead in the hand of his minions. It's hard to believe the confession, because that means there were a production of such popular content in such secret distribution, whoever and for whatever purpose that might be. Back to our take on the first theory about Minions' origin. There were other theories about their growing population. If we watch the first Minions spin-off, we learned that the creators were dated back since the beginning of creation. But we also learned that their original number were constant throughout history, until the arrival of the sequel. And of course, despite their similarity, we didn't fail to notice that there are certain characters that remain on front in each and every moment in history. The like of figure known as Kevin, Bob, and Stuart were not only exist in the year of Gru, but long before that, and we also aware that Gru's affection for the main trio were special. They were among a few who were invited to Gru's wedding, also among a few who has a special best camp at Gru's house. It meant that they are the original, the first of the first, along with the population of 230 in the first movie. And when in the sequel their number grew to significant, people assume Gru used Kevin, Bob, and Stuart DNA to replicate and create other Minions. This theory has backup claim because in one of the short episodes called The Orientation Day, we learned the process of their mutation from a straight DNA. But people also love to speculate that these yellow annoying things were originated from humans, who were kidnapped and became subject of Gru's cruel and twisted experiment. After all, he always wanted to become the greatest villain in the world, right? Overall, despite many take and theory about Minions out there, maybe we need to take a minute of silence out of respect, because they were indeed a product of a genius mind in the industry, commanding the hype and guiding the trend. And even Despicable Me and Minions were rated PG for parental guidance due to their action and rude humor. Kids and family all over the world loved them. Do you agree with our take? Or you have your own theory? It will be splendid if you share it with us in the comments. And if some of you are concerned, remember that this is just a theory, not a fact or a trivia. You feel free to give us your feedback on the matter or on other popular content that we haven't discovered yet. What theory you wanna hear next? Welcome back to Theory of Everything, when we will give you our take of some facts, dark truth, hidden meaning, secret, and rumor behind everything we consume every day. Logos are everywhere, from the smallest item in your hand to the tallest skyscraper in your neighborhood, as companies and brands around the world are constantly fighting for your attention. At first glances, most of them are just fun and colorful emblems. But when you look a little deeper, some of them reveal creatively hidden features that probably you never noticed before. Without further ado, let's dig in one by one. The second number of Baskin-Robbins. Ice cream has always become our favorite treat, children and adults alike. But have you ever noticed the secret of a sacred number hidden in the logo of one of our favorite ice cream? The blue and pink letters of B and R, along with the lowercase letter of the brand name, is one of the iconic logo we recognize dearly. But has anyone out there noticed the secret number inside the insignia? Yes! If you have an eagle eye, you probably noticed that the pink part of the logo actually a number. The number of 31 to be exact. Why is 31 so sacred for Baskin and Robbins that they adamant to integrate it to their logo? For that, we must travel back to its origin. The history of Baskin-Robbins traces its roots to 1955, when Bert Baskin opened his ice cream shop in California. A year later, his brother-in-law Irv Robbins founded another ice cream parlor in Pasadena. To reach much wider consumer and also to avoiding rivalry, the two brothers-in-law joined forces and created Baskin-Robbins. They also came up with the slogan 31 flavors for each day of a month. Maybe for today's standard, 31 flavors from an ice cream brand are less impressive. But back in 1950s, people were stunned. The company itself has introduced over 1,000 flavors since 1945. And yet, the ice cream chain decided to preserve the iconic number as part of its identity. At the beginning, the number 31 appeared bold and foremost, placed over the brand name itself. But later, the sacred number were moved in between, and then came a familiar emblem we know today. The logo has a slightest change in 2020, which appeared that the blue color in the emblem appeared darker, but the well-known design remained. And yet, apparently Baskin-Robbins thought that 2022 is the right time to have a fresh start. So, new logo has been born. It's no longer blue and pink, but still contains its sacred number in it. Which one you love the most? The game of domino. Maybe there was a day when you're wondering, what on earth a relation between a classic game of domino to this Italian comfort food? Worry not, we're gonna break it down to you. Back in 1960s, a pizza restaurant named Dominique's Pizza was bought by an American entrepreneur, Tom Monaghan. But he wasn't allowed to use the existing name, so he asked his employees if they might have had any idea. One of the delivery boys suggested Domino, for it was not to stray from the original name. Monaghan loved it, and he then had an excellent idea for the future logo. The square shape on both sides of Domino looked like pizza boxes, and the 3 dots would represent the first 3 Domino's restaurant to open. The original plan was to add a new dot every time a new outlet opened, but their rapid growing business put the original plan to oblivion. Can you imagine if they kept going with the plan? Because now Domino Pizza has more than 17,200 outlets all over the world. Good luck in putting those 1,000 dots on the logo. The arrow of Amazon. At the first glance, Amazon logo appeared to be nothing special. However, it was designed to match the company philosophy and mind. The orange arrow is similar to a smile because the company wants its customers to satisfy after their experience in the biggest e-commerce in the world. Amazon journey began in 1994 as a bookstore website called Cadabra, as its founder, Jeff Bezos, wanted to give a testament to the importance of thoughtful branding. Although, Bezos a year later changed the name to Amazon. The logo started very rough and complicated. And in 1998, the rectangular emblem vanished to only just the word Amazon.com with black color and subtitles, Earth's biggest bookstore. Between 1998 to 2000, Amazon logo only have a very little change aside of adding an orange color in it. And finally, in 2000, the company erased the .com in their logo and adding an underlined curved arrow. But it was not just an arrow. If you paid a little attention, the arrow started from under the letter A to the letter Z, because that is the core of the company philosophy. From A to Z, you can find anything in Amazon. What started as an online bookstore has since grown into a massive corporation with a hand in almost everything, from grocery shopping to cutting-edge technology. Literally from A to Z, it's only fitting that the company should have a logo that conveys this exact message. The happiest days of Coca-Cola. It's rare, but hidden message can sometimes be a complete coincidence. And this is what happened to Coca-Cola. The company of the most famous carbonated drink in the world could be dated back to 1886, when Dr. Jones Pemberton nailed the formula. But it was his bookkeeper Robinson who came up with the name. Robinson also designed the known world-famous Coca-Cola script logo. He experimented with an elaborate Spencerian script, a form of penmanship characteristic of that time. Drawn in flowing handwriting, Robinson's elaborate script still remains one of the most recognizable trademarks in the world today. Even the logo itself once changed in 1980 with a dramatic, swirly makeover. A year later, the original script were back. Throughout the years, Coca-Cola logo remained the same, except in 1947, the company started their association with red and white color. In red-based color and white script, people started to realize that there is a Danish flag spotted in the negative space between the O and the L. It might be just insignificant coincidence if the world didn't know Denmark is known as the happiest country in the world. People in this country have a tradition to greet new visitors, including tourists in the airport, with the Danish flag. And who wouldn't want it to be associated with the happiest country in the world? So Coca-Cola used this for their advantage when they're advertising in Denmark. This is in line with Coca-Cola core value to bring joy to the world, as stated in their slogan, "Taste the happiness." The hidden gesture of Hyundai. Many people think that the logo of the South Korean automobile company was just simply the first letter of its name. The new insignia was first released in 1990 to replace its old logo. But the company also have a deep thought to went with this new logo, because they also have to have a differentiation from the giant Honda, who also used their first letter as their emblem. They developed a philosophy behind the initial, a philosophy that no one will ever find by their own. In fact, that the letter H is actually symbolized two people, the client and the representative of the company, in mutual gesture of satisfaction, proof that they has already thinking it through. We bet you couldn't figure it out by yourself. So, this is our job to tell you. You're welcome! The buzzing musical note of TikTok. In 2016, an app called Adopt.me released as a contender to a much settled application called Musical.ly. Both apps focus in a lip-sync video recorder and a social media. Its logo was a simple and modest-looking musical note in pink color. At that time, Adopt.me seems to be inferior to its rival. But everything changed when Adopt.me changed its name to Douyin, and its logo transformed into something you might recognize today. The logo, designed to emulate the electronic wave effect, which it gave a standout to 3D appearance. While Douyin focused on Chinese market, its parent company ByteDance developed and launched TikTok to the international market. With this new look, TikTok quickly began to thrive, and within a year, it had more than 100 million users. And in 2017, ByteDance bought Musical.ly and merged it with TikTok to create one unstoppable lip-sync application. Is there any other logo you wish to know its deeper meaning? Write it down in the comment section. And next time, we'll make sure to explore it to you. Have a nice day!